The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
When my girl's got the sweetest pussy.
Hey, welcome to SinCityBounty.
.com.
We'll go to YouTube. We're talking to our Facebook crew. For those of you who don't know, we broadcast live via Facebook during the show itself. And if you are watching the fancy video on YouTube with the pretty background here, you're watching the one that put out by WWDB TV and the premier video editor, Johnny Fever.
The man behind the curtain.
Yes. You'll notice there's only two of us today.
Wah, wah, wah.
We're very sad. But not so sad that we're going to not give you a show. So there you go.
Yep. The show is happening.
Toxie is doing family shit.
She's doing the mom thing right now.
She's got to take care of the kids. I wonder... I would get so bored watching kids play sports. I would be so fucking bored.
It's not about watching other people's kids. It's about watching your kid. And also making fun of all of the other really ridiculous parents in the stands.
Well, that's the thing. My kid would probably, if I ever had kids, my kid would probably come to me and go, "What did you think of what happened in the third quarter, Mom?" And I would have to make something up.
No, you wouldn't. I promise you. Everybody, I know all of you childless people out there hate that trope saying that all parents say is it's different when you have a kid. But the reason we say that is because it's true. Like right now, you don't give a shit. None of them are yours. But it is totally different when it's your own kid. Like I would not be going to see the school's marching band unless my kid was in the school's marching band, which he is. I would go to my kids' things. You know why? Because I actually grew up with that. I had the greatest mom. She didn't understand half of what was going on, but she was at everything. So I would do that for my kid, but my mom never talked to me about the stuff afterwards. So she probably would do like me, like just lose herself in thought or, I don't know, work on her bujo in the corner. What was your mom doing when she was watching your sports and choir stuff?
I have no idea.
Have you ever talked to her about it? You should talk to her about it.
I will.
I bet you she can recall you details about your stuff that you don't even remember. Because that's how moms are, even those of us who are the biggest of asshole parents. Speaking of asshole parents...
That's crazy.
Can I talk about how I parented the fuck out of life this week? So I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and it was a podcast based on the guy who wrote that book about the Google metrics, about what people are Googling. And he mentioned that really the number one thing people Google is porn. And even though only 3% of the population says they're gay, easily half of the porn that is Googled by straight men is gay male porn. So there's probably something to that. And he mentioned Pornhub. And I'm familiar with Pornhub, though I'm an ex-hamster girl myself. And I thought nothing of it. Like, nothing at all. My kid was in the car with me. I listened to all the same stuff with him. And the other day, he was just engrossed in his phone, and I do random spot checks. It's hand me your phone, because my son has a pretty severe technological addiction. He's addicted to technology, and so occasionally I have to shake up his world and keep him off of it for a couple of weeks or whatever, so he can be...
I remember when he was restricted from just doing regular videos, because I didn't know that they were porn at the time, or they weren't at the time.
No, they weren't.
But I remember he was like sneaking it under the cover.
Yeah.
Oh, we were on a trip.
Yeah.
Right? And he was sneaking it. He was hiding himself under his jacket and sneaking and watching the videos.
Not happening. So it's like, hand me your phone. And he would not just hand over his phone. He was going through, like, he was taking as long as he could, and he was closing down apps as he's handing it to me. I was like, oh, bitch, you don't know who this is. So I just opened up his phone, and I used to own the phone that he has. So I am familiar with it. I know how to look at it. I know where to look in all of the things. So I pull up all of his search histories, and I pull up all of his browsing histories, and then I pull up his Instagram account, because he just recently was allowed to have an Instagram page. We're trying to reconnect over there. So we just recently gave him an Instagram page because it's pretty safe for kids mostly. And so I pull up his Instagram account, and I pull up his search history on his Instagram account. And guess what he searched? Pornhub, followed by 4 pornography actresses after that.
He knows actual porn actresses' names?
Well, I'm sure they were listed, like, you know how, places retweet or retweet. It's a fucking retweet. We do it all. We share a post. That's what we do. Yeah. So I'm sure he just followed, like, post shares or comments or something like that, or ats,
Right.
And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, he does not want to admit that he has Googled this, except he's the only one using this phone. So finally, I'm like, listen, we're going to talk about this later, but for now I want you to know that you are not allowed to look at porn while you were in the living room sitting next to me on the couch.
That is an awesome limitation. Like, go do porn in the garage, go do porn in your room, go do porn in the kitchen, but when you're sitting next to me on the couch, no porn.
So,
he's probably never going to sit with you on the couch again. You know that, right?
Ever.
Well, so I gave it a couple of days, and I told his dad, because his dad lives with me. We're not romantically involved, but we co-parent and we cohabitate.
Which I think is awesome, by the way.
It is pretty awesome, because I have like a live-in babysitter. It's amazeballs. So I turned to his dad and I was like, you need to talk to your son about porn. And I let a couple of days go by. And then I asked his dad, so did you talk to your son about porn? And he's like, yeah, kind of. And I'm like, no, you didn't. So last night, before my son goes to bed, he comes downstairs and he's like, all right, I'm going to bed now. Or he comes into the living room, or the kitchen. I was in the kitchen boojoing. And he comes in to tell me he's going to bed. And I'm like, hey, why don't you sit down for a minute? He's like, okay.
Does he know? Can he kind of sense now when you're going to have these super important talks with him?
Well, most of our super important talks happen as just general conversation after we've listened to a podcast, or we've watched a video, or he's mentioned something that's happened at school, or I just beat his ass for something. I don't know. It's just general conversation stuff. This is the first time I've ever sat him down and had a direct conversation about a topic, specifically for having that conversation about that topic. So I'm like, so I know you were looking at porn. And he's like very reluctantly nodding his head, because now we all know porn's a bad thing. And I said, that's okay. I said, porn is not bad, but porn is not real. And he's just looking at me, and I'm like Harry Potter, great, super entertaining, lots of fun, but never gonna happen, right? Porn, great, super entertaining, never gonna happen. I said, it's just movies for adults. It's not real. It doesn't even portray real, healthy sexual relationships between adults, because sex for real is weird and awkward and strange, and you really should only do it with people you really care about. Don't talk to him about slut phases yet. He'll get to that in his own damn time. And
did he blush? Did he turn red?
Yeah. He did, but he knows that I wouldn't talk about stuff like this. But if I wanted to embarrass him, there would be other people in the room. If I was not trying to embarrass him, it's just me and him having a conversation. So while he was embarrassed, he was receptive. And I go on to tell him, how porn is it's shot in a studio, and there's somebody there with a camera. There's somebody changing the lighting. Sometimes they're voicing over them themselves because it's not really the real noises they're making. And I'm telling him, real sex is weird and strange, and people have hang-ups, and it doesn't just happen like that. Like, it doesn't. We'll talk about sex later.
It's kind of weird that you want to explain this to this kid, but you can't really give him Maybe there are clinical sex movies that adults should have at their fingertips.
I'm sure there are, but we haven't made it to that stage yet.
Right.
Right now, the conversation that I had with him is, you are too young for sex. Like, if you want to look at porn, do it on your own time. Don't do it at school. Don't do it during family time. And don't do it with your friends, because your friends are gross and they're going to make weird comments and they're going to think it's real, and it's not. So don't watch porn with your friends. And I could see him getting frustrated. I'm like, yeah, I know. You're not allowed to have your phone in your room, and you're not allowed to have your iPad in your room. You're not allowed to have your laptop in your room. When am I ever going to look at porn? I said, trust me, dude, you're going to find time to look at porn.
Oh, yeah.
But not at school, not in your bedroom. Well, I'm sure it'll happen in his bedroom. I didn't say not in your bedroom.
Do you know if this is true? Jasper says porn uses CGI.
Yes.
Really? Do they? Isn't that like...
At this point,
I would
it's
think it would explode
animated.
the budget, right?
No, CGI is super cheap these days.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, huh?
Oh.
Everybody's going to school to be a computer graphics artist. They're all hungry and they need to pay their bills, so you can pick one up on the cheap.
Okay.
I know, I work in the industry. You can pick up interns real cheap these days. So then we got on to the topic of consent, because I'm talking about how sex is weird and that he's too young for it. And no one should ever make him feel like he needs to have sex. And he should never make anyone feel like they need to have sex. And I'm like, consent is, you know what consenting means? It means saying yes to something. But consent for sex is deeper than that. There's all these subtleties to consent. And I said, you know what? The best explanation I've ever seen is a video. So I Googled consent like British tea.
Oh, I love that video.
It is the best video to explain what consent means. So we sat and we watched the consent video. And he laughed and I laughed, because it's entertaining, it's funny, and it is ludicrous. And it's ludicrous in the way that makes you realize that forcing someone else to have sex with you is ludicrous. It makes no sense. It does not do anything. So at the end of that video, I was like, so what does that mean? And he's like, well, you can't make someone have sex with you if they don't want to have sex with you. And I'm like, well, what if they say they do, and then you start to have sex with them and they say they don't? And he's like, well, then you have to stop. And I'm like, yes. That's good.
All right.
So, I had with my 12-year-old son, who looks like he's 85, because he's huge. He's taller than I am now. He's 12. He has a mustache. She's known him since before he was born.
12.
Yeah. And about porn and consent last night. And I parented. And I was not embarrassed. I didn't stumble. And I didn't use any crazy ass, like, SinCityBounty euphemisms, although you should have seen his face when I told him, you've met porn stars. And he's like, and I'm like, I have friends who are porn stars. You have met there have been porn stars in this house. And he was flabbergasted. And I was like, there you go. So I bet you he's going to be Googling all y'all's faces trying to find out who of mom's friends are porn stars now.
She was so proud of herself for doing this parenting that we got a text in the middle of the night.
I did.
It was awesome.
It wasn't the middle of the night. It was.
I know. It was like 10 o'clock or something like that.
But I was like,
cool.
I parented the fuck out of that. Parenting win. So.
Is there always that much elation within yourself when you do parent well?
When I successfully parent, yes.
You?
And when I do not successfully parent, when I fail hardcore at parenting, and trust me, every parent fails hardcore at parenting, the opposite emotion is amplified by 10. It's not just like an equal opposite emotion. Like, I'm not equally sad as well as equally jubilant. You know what I mean? It's multiplied by a factor of 10. Because when you parent bad, you feel so, so bad. And I have parented terribly before. We all have. And any of you motherfuckers out there who say you've never been a bad parent is a lying son of a bitch who probably also lies about not watching porn.
Do you think that's why grandparents are so loving to grandchildren, because they realize they failed as parents?
Yes. And also because they don't have to be the disciplinarian. Because that's generally the point at which you fail, is when you have to discipline your child. You either fail because you didn't discipline them enough, or you failed because you disciplined them too much. I find generally that's where parents, when you talk to parents and like, what's the worst parenting fail you've ever had, and it usually involves discipline.
So Tim says, I'm so glad that there are parents like you to help change how we handle sex with youth. This is how we help the next generation become sexually responsible and not afraid. Jasper says, Sierra, some people call it eavesdropping. I call it quality time. And Dawn says, my mom gave me the talk multiple times since I was 5, the blunt truth of it. The where babies come from in detail and drawings.
Oh my God.
Cool. But I was grateful because there are no surprises.
I don't think I will be giving my son detailed drawings. I'm going to post a picture to SinCityBounty's page of a drawing I drew for a show live back when we were at the Sahara studio, the other Sahara studio, not this Sahara studio. Because somebody didn't know what fingering a butthole looked like. And so I drew a little hand fingering a butthole. And I am not going to be drawing penises and vaginas for my kid because that's just not going to happen. I might find some really great videos because I know there's was a video.
Of great anatomically
there's
books out there as well.
Yeah, there's books. There's really good videos. I don't have to rely on the shitty 3D paper cutouts that people put in books in the 70s, like Where Babies Come From and stuff like that. I can rely on actual medical shit written by doctors, written by urologists, written by gynecologists, written by sexual health doctors. Like, I can rely on the professionals to do this shit for me.
That's right.
Because I know I cannot rely on the public school system. Because what are they going to teach? Abstinence.
So when he gets into, I think it's 7th grade when they teach that half semester class, sexual health or whatever the hell it is.
This year.
Is it 6th grade now?
It is.
When he gets there, he's going to go, oh, this is old hat.
Well,
oh, I got it.
I am going to sit in on that class, and not to embarrass him, but because I want to know what he's learning. And parents always have the option of sitting in on classes like that. And so I'm going to sit in on that class because I want to know what he learned in the class, because I can't rely on my kid to tell me because he'll be like, well, I don't know what sex and stuff. That's how he'll tell me. And so I want to know where his education needs to be shored up. Although honestly, my goal is that by the time he does get into that class, he's like, this is all wrong. Like, I hope he is like, abstinence is the worst way to not have sex. It's the only way to not have sex. But people teach abstinence as a way to keep STDs away. But the thing is if you teach abstinence, then little girls think they can take it in the butt or they can put it in their mouth, and then they end up with butt herpes or mouth herpes. They still can get gonorrhea, syphilis, and AIDS that way. So
I'm pretty sure that there are studies out there that prove that abstinence only does not work.
Abstinence only makes the situations worse.
Right. Tim says, I grew up with my grandmother, and she was a scientist, so I grew up with straight science. I was the only kindergartner who knew where their urethra was.
Nice.
CJ believes that truth about grandparents, too, that they overcompensate with their grandkids. Say hello to Hasiel. Hasiel! My favorite Hispanic who loves Japanese, who lives in Canada.
He's married to a Japanese girl.
Oh, I didn't know he got married.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
they got married.
Hasiel.
They're officially married.
And then we have Masahiko Nakasone.
I think that might be his wife.
Okay,
I don't know.
Cool.
How come you got different chats in yours than I did?
I don't know. Dawn, of course, who we mentioned earlier. Jasmine from Indiana. Jasmine from Indiana. Hello. And Cheryl. How do you like it better here than in YouTube? Oh, that was our very first one. We don't stream to YouTube, so there we go.
Yeah, the YouTube test that we did was to test the setup for when we do our upcoming remotes, because our original streaming setup just was not working for us anymore. We lost a lot of video because it was a terrible service.
From our last
remote. And we hate losing video at all. So for our remotes only, we will be streaming live directly to YouTube and Facebook. You'll be able to see both.
Right, and we have an event coming up here in February. The Winter Weekend event.
My bullet journal is way the fuck across this big-ass studio.
It's not even written in mine yet.
It's way-o. No, it's been written in mine for ages now. Because I knew we were going to do it.
Yes, I think it's mid-month, right? Like right around Valentine's or something? Oh, Jasper knows. Jasper posts in the Winter Weekend group page all the time. Jasper!
When is Winter Weekend?
When is the Winter Weekend?
And we are broadcasting Saturday night from the pool party.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, very cool.
yeah, Toxie told me, I think
It's
Saturday
gonna be a
night.
little cold for sitting out there in just our bathing suits, so we'll figure something out.
No. I was thinking the Summer Bash. 'Cause we will be broadcasting Saturday night from the Summer Bash too. But Winter Weekend will be in the hallway. That's right, because it's at the Tuscany, not the Plaza.
Yes. Okay. I love the plaza though,
I
and
love
from
the
the
plaza,
pool. That
too.
last remote
Hell
was great.
yeah.
So I had a little bit of a rant today, but I kind of did it already. That's the danger of talking to your friends and fellow compatriots who feel the same way you do about something. And so we did determine in my venting before that Sierra originally comes from what would be considered a shithole country.
I do. Well, I come from America. I was born and raised here. But my ancestors
Yes.
are from Ireland.
Which, it's not as dark as Haiti or any of the African countries, but by early Americans would be considered a shithole country.
And still has one of the worst economies in Europe and struggles to feed its people and blah, 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 blah. We were talking about this whole thing before I think we even got on Facebook.
Yeah.
But shithole countries are only shithole countries because they do not have any means with which to bring themselves up and out of the poverty that those countries have inherent in them. But the only reason, I honestly believe the only reason they are in poverty is because we see them from our point of view. A lot of these people live full, happy lives. They maybe not be the healthiest, but if perhaps maybe we just got our fingers out of their fucking business and let them live their own goddamn lives.
Well, I think you're talking more about poorer countries, not necessarily shithole countries. Because there are plenty of people from many of the countries, as per described by our President of the United States, there are plenty of people coming from those countries who are doing phenomenal.
Exactly.
And are going places.
Yeah.
And they're becoming amazing people. And so we've been talking about our bujo lately and bullet journaling or journaling. By the way, bullet journal is a trademark.
Yes, bullet journal, but bullet journaling is not.
Right. And bujo is also trademarked.
But bujoing is not.
Right. So I actually made a page in my bujoing book called "Are You Fucking Kidding Me?"
I have a fuck that page.
Really? That would be along the same lines. For those of you who have watched us since the beginning, it's been 7 years that we've been doing the show now. We used to have our original co-host was Calypso, and her favorite phrase was, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And the first entry that I have on this list for January is, do we have to take all these people from these shithole countries? Which
Yes, we do. If they
blew my mind.
If they come through all the proper channels and they immigrate here legally, yes, we fucking do.
Well, for those of you who don't know, this was said during a meeting about DACA, which is the DREAM Act, right?
The kids who were brought here against their will by their parents illegally. They
To
didn't
see
have
if
a
they could
fucking
stay
choice.
here.
They've only ever lived here. They only speak English. They've been contributing members to our society for God knows how long, their entire lives, most of them. So, here's my fuck that page. Can you zoom in on that, Johnny? Fuck that. You see those little middle fingers? That's my washi tape. That's my favorite washi tape ever.
Let's see. Nurses who need to be buzzed 3 times before they respond. Sleeping in a noisy ER, crammed in a reclining chair with your smelly, snoring 12-year-old son, and being treated like a shill by some older white dude who thinks he knows better.
That's my fuck that page. That's not you. You know you don't know better.
I love that.
And then I was also doodling.
We should really freak out Toxie and do a complete bujoing show.
We should.
Oh, she made fuck that pretty.
I
Oops,
did.
sorry.
I made it pretty. See, I made that pretty. And then I saw a quote today in one of the many Facebook pages. So I was just kind of doodling around today. I had like nothing to do, honestly. look, it's pretty. But this quote at the top of the page says, "Don't try to explain yourself. Don't try to explain yourself to idiots. You're not the fuckface whisperer."
Ah, I love that quote.
I love that quote. And then I made a smiling happy taco, and I was starting to draw Wallace, but it's a bad Wallace.
So, someone posted in our Bujoing group about how it is a fucking rabbit hole when you get involved in journaling and all the things that you want to do and all the time that you spend on the web, on Pinterest and things like that. But I find that I have been more creative. Have you found that at all?
I have been doing more creative things, and I have been researching more creative aspects of myself. I've done way more doodling than I have ever done in my life. I've always been a doodler. Like, I'm one of those people who's in a meeting doodling on the page, and then everyone walks out and they're like, "Why do you have no notes?" And I'm like, "I remember everything you said." Like, I'm that statistic, the person that they did the research study on, that doodling makes you remember things better. I've always been a doodler. But it's really nice to have a place to keep kind of all those doodles and
Together.
to experiment with them and stuff like that. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I like it. I do get to be a little bit more creative, and I break out my art pens a little bit more. And
I do. It also forces me to be more dedicated to doing the things I love to do. I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I quite often find myself just sitting at home and not actually doing anything that I love to do. And that was part of this year's goal, was to be more involved in the things I love to do. So, like, I used to have a backlog of hundreds of podcasts. I'm completely caught up in my podcasts in 2 weeks.
that's awesome.
I read all of my webtoons, because here's a plug for an app for those of you who are comic book nerds who love to support independent artists. There's a app out there called Webtoons, and I think that's also a website, but really, who looks it up on the internet anymore? Download the app. It's fabulous. It's all free. They all post their Patreon pages, so if you decide you really like an artist and want to support their work, you can click on their Patreon link and go support them. It's amazing.
What a great segue. Speaking of Patreon, if you like what we do here, and you like the show that we produce and are here every week, and the pretty faces that Toxie makes for you with her big giant eyes, we also have a Patreon page, and you can support us. You can support us for as low as $1 a month. You can do $3 a month, but if you do $5 a month, you get included in our super secret Facebook group, where hopefully we will give you tons of extra stuff. Like, we don't strip in there or anything, but you have direct access. We'll answer your questions in that group, and
you'll get first dibs on anything we do. When we announce we're going to be at a location or something like that, you'll get first dibs. We have, in a little less than 40 episodes, our 400th episode coming up. We are already planning that 400th episode. It will be a rager. Actually, it'll probably just be here. No, we always find a really nice place to have our 100 episode anniversary shows, because we've done it every 100th episode, and we're just going to continue doing that.
Yep,
The last
we'll have special
one,
guests, and
yeah, we'll have special guests. We'll try to get former hosts to come back.
tell a lot of stories.
A shit ton of stories. There's stories we haven't told in a long time. Updates on stories we haven't told. Like, I just randomly Googled somebody who was on our list. And I found he has 2 eviction notices. And his big thing that, like, he's actually in court for eviction proceedings. Like they had to take him to court to evict him.
Aww.
Aw, don't aw.
Okay.
No, don't aw. When you know who it is, don't aw.
Okay.
Especially since his big thing was, like, his family is so full of money and he's so fancy rich. Like, you got evicted from a weekly.
Poor guy.
Aw.
I don't know who it is, so I'm gonna go aw for now. Oh, poor guy.
No, this guy deserves every fucking inch of it.
Anyway, you can find the link on our website, Patreon, patreon.com/SinCityBounty, I think is what it is. It might be backwards.
There's links on our Facebook page, links on our Twitter, links on our Instagram, links on our website.
Yep. And we would appreciate that. We have a couple of Patreon backers right now, and I don't know where that money is though. It's somewhere in Patreon. We have to figure out the way to go get it. So, but I think they save it for us, so that's good.
Good.
But I know that our first goal when we reach our first goal, it's to have dinner live privately with all of you fine people who are Patreon supporters and eat some tacos on air. So if you're a feeder, that might be something to look for. But our ultimate goal, tell them our ultimate goal,
is to go on the road. And if enough of you do that, we can go on the road, because that means we can take time away from our jobs that pay the bills and come visit you in your area. So
we'll do live broadcast from there and have you guys as a live audience or on the mics with us.
Right. We would love to do it. I would love to turn this into a traveling fucking show, and that's all we do for the rest of our lives is this.
I would like to go to, I hear about the parties down there in Florida, the BBW parties down there in Florida. I would love to
Cocoa
go to
Beach
that.
Bash.
There is something called Goddess Parties somewhere in New York. Who I've been to their their website pages, I think, but I would love to check those out. And I know there are a ton of people in the Midwest that have parties and dances and things like that all the time. I want to go to, back before we started the show, after I had lost that one job that I had for like 25 years, Calypso took me on a road trip to Kansas.
Oh my God.
And then when we were in Kansas, we went to a roadhouse dance thing where I hooked up with some dude and gave head in a cornfield, but it was awesome.
She gave head in a cornfield.
But I would love to go to something like that to do the show from. Like some barn, big giant steel house in the middle of a cornfield somewhere to do this show. I think that would be so awesome.
Yeah. No, Cali guy, it was not the person you mentioned in the text message. He's not on the list because we've never fucked him.
It was someone we fucked?
From the list, yes.
Oh. Well then.
Cocksucker Brian.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I'm going to say on anymore.
No. I told you. No all needed.
Can Sierra spell the name of that app?
I already did.
Oh.
See?
Oh. Okay.
I responded. I did. Webtoon. I can't remember if it's plural or not, but you'll see it. It's 2 green boxes. Says
it's
Webtoon.
Not T-U-N-E. A lot of them do the T-U-N-E.
No. It's Toon. Because it's cartoons.
Oh, I see. It's not music.
No. It's cartoons.
Okay.
It's comic books. It's like daily, weekly, monthly comic book.
So speaking of special things that probably should have went into our super special secret Facebook group for those $5 and more, didn't you and Toxie go somewhere this weekend?
Oh, we did. We hung out with former show host Desiree Divine. She was in town. In case you didn't know, she doesn't live here anymore. She lives in another place, and she was in town for the weekend for I don't know what. But anyway, we all went out to this really great, this is a totally free plug. They do not pay me to say this, but they are amazing, and you should go see them, and it's free, and the drinks are cheap because it's a locals casino. At Sunset Station, and occasionally, I think at Aliante, there's a band that plays called Blue String Theory. It's on Saturdays, 10 p.m. in the Club Madrid Lounge. They are a 70s, 80s, and sometimes 90s rock band, cover band, and they are amazing. They're older dudes, probably in their early 50s, but they can still rock the fuck out, and they know all the songs, they know all the words to the songs, and they play all the songs from beginning to end. It's amazing, and I love it.
As I've gotten older and interested in a shit ton more things, music has kind of gone by the wayside. So when it popped up that Toxie was streaming live, I was like, oh, the girls are live. So I go to and watch the video on Facebook as you guys are there.
I don't remember those videos.
You don't remember those?
I remember doing them, but I wasn't drunk. I was just had so much going on.
Well, the majority of it was the music that was happening in the background. So, to be honest, I stayed on the whole time that you guys were streaming, but to be completely honest, I turned down the volume all the way and opened a new window. It just kept working.
I ain't mad. You don't got to watch us live.
What? But I'm going to technically be present, right? And I don't turn it down enough to where I can't hear you. So if you say something off the wall, like you did, like I'm grabbing my breasts, I'm grabbing your breasts, I'll hear that part. Because you usually do those kinds of things really loud. So no matter how low I turn it down.
Well, that's because she's got the phone like right here. Like she's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hello, phone." Hello, phone. And that me grabbing my boobs was totally unrehearsed. I did not know she was pointing the camera at me. I was stretching. And I stretched, and my boobs were not aligned properly, so I was aligning them, and she totally caught it on the camera, and I was like, oh, fuck. That's like, it's like watching a guy adjust his nuts. That's all it is. I'm just adjusting my oversized nuts in my very uncomfortable sports container.
So, what's up for the weekend? Do you have any plans? Oh, she's got to check her BJ.
My journal. I'm only up to Friday right now. I'm trying out like doing this whole weekly thing, so we'll see how that works. What is this weekend? Yes, I do.
Lots of plans.
Have lots of plans this weekend. On Thursday, I am taking my son on a surprise mommy-son trip to Sunset Station or Sam's Town to watch a movie. It's like 3 blocks from my house, you guys. It's going to be a one-time showing in the U.S. One of the animators from Studio Ghibli broke off and started his own studio, and this is his first release, and so we're going to go see it because I love everything Studio Ghibli has done, and I love all that animation style.
Do you know what we need to make sure that we do every time Toxie is not going to be on the show?
Over-geek the fuck out of it?
Well, we do that anyway, but we need to announce that Toxie will not be on the show, so all of the people who follow us who love the geek stuff will know to watch.
True.
Not that we aren't entertaining otherwise, but we do overly geek it when she's not here.
We do. So I'm going to go see Mary and the Witch's Flower, which is being put out by Panoco, or Ponoco. I don't know how it's pronounced because I haven't heard anyone pronounce it yet. But that's what we're going to go see. He doesn't know that that's what we're going to go see. He doesn't even know we're going out. It's going to be a surprise. I'm going to be like, come home, wash your stank ass. Let's go.
It's one of my favorite hotels, casinos. Sam's Town, because of the garden.
I know. They have this great atrium in the middle that's got a lot of live plants and a lot of fake plants and this laser light show that's fucking amazing.
And the bar that spins.
Yes. If you didn't already have problems with drinking, this bar will fuck you up.
It goes slow enough, I
It
think.
goes slow enough, but if you are totally wasted and you look up and suddenly the scenery is completely different, it fucks with your mind.
Yeah.
I like it. There's a lot of stuff to do at the Sam's Town with families. Like there's the movie theater and
I like
and
it
all that.
because, don't get me wrong. There are places on the Strip that have these beautiful gardens in them and everything. But I love the one at Sam's Town because it's intimate as well as...
Fantastic.
Yeah, because hotel rooms look down on it. And it goes up, like 25, 30 stories or something like that?
Oh, no, it's like 10.
It's got to be more than 10.
No, it's not.
But so you look straight up and there's sunlight and everything because of the glass roof and everything. But you only have to walk like 20 paces and from the center bar. 20 paces either way and you're out of it. So
it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And then Friday is corn husk soaking night. I will be spending the evening swapping out my hot water on my corn husks.
Also a nerd bar for you, right? Nerd bar night?
Yeah, it should be a nerd bar night, depending on if we're all getting together. And Saturday, then, is my favorite craft night of the year. Boom chicka pow wow.
We're going to make voodoo dolls.
No, we're not. We're making corn
They're not
dollies.
voodoo dolls. They're corn dolls.
We're making corn dollies.
They could be voodoo dolls.
Who's on the dark side now? Corn dollies are so much fun to make.
I'm only talking to our audience here.
Yeah. Corn dollies are so much fun to make. I love making both the corn husk dolls, and I did find some long wheat straws with the heads on the end, so I'm going to do some of those traditional weaved corn dollies too. And I bought a shit ton of pipe cleaners, and we are going to make breeds crosses with pipe cleaners, and it's going to be awesome.
Very cool.
It's my favorite craft night of the year.
I'm spending almost the entire weekend with you.
That's true, you are.
Almost.
You want to go to the nerd bar with me Friday?
No.
Come on. They're good people.
Ask me Friday morning.
Ask you Friday morning? Okay.
I might change my mind.
Are you getting laid?
No.
All right.
I just have other things I can do.
Like what?
Work on my bujoing.
You could work on a beer with me. Whatever.
I have tons of whiskey at home. I showed you my basket.
Yeah, but you don't drink that.
That's true. Only on occasion. Fridays I usually either spend with my neighbor, which is awesome, who just turned 81.
Oh my God.
And I don't think I have anything planned with him this weekend, though. But he likes to get up early and go yard sailing. Is that? I don't know if that's a verb.
It is. Yard sailing.
sailing. Yeah.
I've been yard sailing with my grandparents since I was a wee lass.
Yeah. And
old people love doing
I
that.
find some of the most amazing things for like 50 cents at yard sales. So I actually love it too. I just don't usually do it.
I got an original Dungeons & Dragons board game
Nuh-uh.
from a yard sale for like $3.
That's awesome. With everything.
With everything, no, I have everything. The box is in disrepair, so that does not help me out for resale value, but I have no intention of reselling it. But I have all the little cardboard dinghies that you put together. I have the original Dungeon Master's manual that's like this big and like this big, and I have all the original character sheet cards that came in it. Like, it's all original.
Our chat says Toxie is watching, but I'm pretty sure with that little bit that you just did, she's gone.
She's gone. I have my Dungeons & Dragons board game.
Tim says, I want a shirt that says, I have to check my BJ. That is awesome.
That is awesome. We should trademark the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
We don't
Whatever.
even... Yeah, we're so lazy about that. That's probably one of the reasons why we're not making any money doing this.
But we don't need to.
We don't.
We get offers every now and then for sponsorships for the show, which are kind of cool. But when you enter into agreements like that, those people who want to sponsor you usually want to have a say in what you do and what you say.
And we do not like people telling us what the fuck to do.
Yeah. And then there's the whole thing of they sign a contract with you and then you have to chase them for your money.
Like hardcore. Like, we had to get our lawyer, who used to be like right across the way here.
Yeah.
We had to get our lawyer involved with our very first sponsor ever, and we had to send a fucking letter to them like, bitch, our contract did not say net 30, you owe us.
So right now, at this point, we don't expect shit from nobody, so we don't have to have any of those worries whatsoever. Totally stress-free.
Completely.
One of these days, maybe, will be... I think I would like to... If we ever do branding, I would like to do the branding where the cups are on the counter, or we're wearing the shirt.
Or the hat, like whatever. That's what we will do. If you want to sponsor the show, if you have a brand that you want advertised on this show, we will gladly and proudly display it on the fucking green screen behind us. Like right here in this space between our heads could be a company logo right here. John should put the WWDB-TV
Yes,
one.
do that, John.
Oh yeah, we could totally put nipple badges on. We did that one time on a show. We had giant stickers and we put them on our boobs. It was for the motorboat booth that we were live streaming the motorboat booth from, and we couldn't show nipples, so we had stickers from one of the production companies that was there, gave us a bunch of big stickers, and we just put them on everybody's nipples so we could have bare boobs but no nipples so it wouldn't get taken down.
Yep.
It was fabulous. We will do that. I will do that.
And hold up your BJ. Hold up your BJ. And if we are now also accepting a sponsorship for things other than, I don't know, dildos or lube or whatever things that you think that go with the show, we will talk all day long about your BJ.
We'll do spreads for you.
Spreads. We'll spread it, baby, just for you.
Oh, someone is dirty tonight. Extra dirty.
I don't know what it is.
I think she wants to get laid.
No, that's
We are
not
now
it.
taping applications.
I did have a little bit of a thought, like a flyby thought about maybe it's time for me to get a boyfriend. Maybe it's time for me to start looking to get laid. And then I go into one of these groups that I'm in on Facebook. And
You see that hashtag adventures in online dating?
No, I have not.
Oh, those are great.
But it was talking about my fucking husband, does this or doesn't do this. And I'm like, oh God, I don't even want to even get started with these people. Because I know breaking in someone new, I guess it can be exciting if the sex is really awesome, so you don't really pay attention to the breaking in part or getting to know them part. And
no one says you have to date the people you fuck.
Oh, I know that. But I have to at least be attracted to the people I fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there hasn't been any of that yet.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, but that kind of goes out the window once they speak.
True, they don't need to speak neither. Listen, I just want to have sex with you, so just shut up, be pretty, and let me fuck you. That's all that needs to happen here. Toxie says we are also willing to be sponsored by a vibrator company. We are.
Yes.
And we did, as part of our original agreement with this one particular company, offer to do product reviews for them as long as they provided the product and we would review it. And I did do a product review for a vibrator made out of wood one time. It's on, we have it somewhere.
There's a picture of it. If you open up our photos on Facebook, there's a picture. It's way back though. It's like
that's
6 years ago.
It's first season stuff. Yeah. That's first season stuff. I do not have that dildo anymore. I think I don't know what I did with it, but I don't have it anymore. Cheerios to whoever does have it. It was loud. Though it was like,
it was made of wood.
Yeah, and it just had a little vibrator inside of it that was just rattling around in there, so it was super loud.
Yeah, that's right. It was really loud and it rattled.
Yeah.
There was like that loose rattle sound going on in there. It was crazy.
It was pretty crazy. So, yeah, we're totally willing to do product reviews. We'll actually try it. And some stuff, as long as it's not we will totally try it on the air for you, even if you're a company. Like, I want to try that bubbling exfoliating piggy mud mask. And I think that would be a fun thing to do on the air. So
we could always do a review of it without their sponsorship anyway.
True that. I haven't seen my favorite reviewer in a long time. I got to Google her ass.
Yeah, there is someone making the rounds in the viral department of doing reviews that are hilarious. The one that's making the rounds right now is the guy who reviews the videos of food being made. Have you seen that one?
No.
Everybody tags me in these videos, and it's this cute little guy, and he's Southern, I think, and he's like, what was it? It was macaroni and cheese and Jell-O, or Chef Boyardee and Jell-O, or something like that. It's like, what the hell are they doing? It was fucking great.
That sounds gross.
It was pretty gross.
Jell-O is very rarely a savory food. I have seen some savory gelatinous meals.
Toxie says he's amazing, so she knows who he is. If you know his name, Toxie, let us know.
It's so gross.
All this naughty bujo talk makes me want to write with the fanciest of pens, says Timothy. Jasper says, Alexia, someone is flustered only about you, baby.
Potato salad cake? Yes, I have seen potato salad cake. It is made with unflavored gelatin.
Yeah.
It's made with unflavored gelatin, and it is just as gross as you imagine it would be. Now, you want me to get up on some Jell-O salad, the fruit salad made in a Jell-O mold? Hell yeah, that's good. But the savory in Jell-O? Ugh. Because unflavored gelatin is not actually unflavored. You can taste the horse's hooves in it.
Oh. Yes.
Pretty good.
That's actually true.
It's gross.
It's too bad it's not like what are those other ingredients that take on the flavor, like tofu. Tofu takes on the flavor of whatever it is that you're cooking with,
but not the consistency. It's still like eating rubbery snot.
My mom uses a lot of tofu in her cooking. I love it.
I like tofu, but if it's not cooked right, woof. It's like flan.
I like it when she cubes it up and then deep fries it too. Even though that is not the healthiest way to eat tofu. Just so you know.
Who gives a shit? It's tofu.
Well, the whole point of eating soybean curd is to eat healthier.
No, the whole point of eating soybean curd is because you do not have any other way to eat protein because you're too poor to afford meat. That's where that's where tofu and soybean food comes from. Yeah. Comes from the Asian countries where they have like one goat and that goat needs to make milk. So what do they eat?
That was
rice
my
and soybeans.
Privileged whiteness talking.
That was your privileged whiteness talking. All you bitches. Tofu is healthy. Tofu is vital to the food of people in underdeveloped countries. It's cheap. I don't know why we spend so much money on tofu. People who live on 3 pennies a day eat tofu,
It's supposed to be cheap. Yeah, it's supposed to be cheap.
It's like fancy rice. Bitches, stop eating fancy rice. You know why people live on tofu and rice in countries that don't have electricity still?
Rice I buy the cheapest available. Rice is a staple.
I buy
Total staple. in my house.
it in the bulk, and it is a staple in our household too, because we are not rich, and we're not. Although I just got my W-2s, and I realized I took a second job late last year, which bumped me into the middle class tax bracket. And
You're no longer poor?
I'm no longer poor.
I would high five? No?
No, because I don't think I paid enough taxes
Oh, because you thought you were poor.
because I thought I was poor.
Hasiel says tofu is super cheap in Japan. I think
Yeah.
that's where most of it comes from. So yeah.
Yeah, but over here it's fucking expensive, which is stupid because it's like tofu in every country except America is like ramen noodles.
Well, hold on. Tofu is expensive in American supermarkets. But if you go to an Asian supermarket, it's not that expensive.
Oh, see?
Because I shop Asian supermarkets all the time. And you can buy it there, like in the scale, like in the weighing scale, as opposed to the plastic packaging, right?
Yeah, the $45 pack of tofu. You can get it for 55 cents at the Asian market. Of course, living on the West Coast, we have more access to that because we do have a much heavier Asian population here. People who live east of the Rocky Mountains are just not going to have access to that.
We have a new listener, Karan Wafa. Say hello. Where are you from, Karan? Hasiel says it's like 80 cents a square.
A square what?
The square is almost the same size as you buy now in the $40 to $5 package.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think it's more dense too.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know which country. It's probably Japan because they're weirdos. Is into this like fermented tofu that's supposed to be super stinky, and like the stinkier it is, the better it is.
Isn't that like
It's literally tofu gone bad. It's just fermented tofu. It's moldy tofu. Yeah.
Well, but Asians love that kind of stuff. Kimchi is huge over there.
Kimchi's
which is fermented. I love kimchi, by the way.
American kimchi
Although-
is good.
Although my mom makes a fresh version, which I like just as good.
Yeah, I like her mom's kimchi.
Yeah. There's. I'm pretty
Is
sure
it
that bug paste that I eat has been fermented. I'm
That
pretty
100-year-old duck eggs.
right? I can't remember that Balal or something like that. I can't remember the name of it.
It's
But that all of that still is just like you said, comes from the whole point of being a poor country and looking
and just eating whatever you can. Yeah. Over here, we're like, oh, it's a super delicacy, and we're going to sell it for $10 a pound. And over there, they're like, we eat this to survive.
Yeah, so don't go to like Trader Joe's to go get your tofu. Go to Saigon Market,
Find your
Spring
city's
Mountain here in Las Vegas.
I know how racist you all are going to think this is, but every city has a Chinatown or an Asian market area, or where all of those races cohabitate in that one area for their shopping areas. Go there and shop there because honestly, it's the best place to get shit.
And you can kind of feel like a tourist in a place where there are millions of Asians.
And
or
they love
at least
Whitey.
hundreds of Asians.
They love Whitey.
Well, they like Whitey's money.
You show up and you're paying for stuff, they like you a lot.
It's one of my favorite places to go. They have this awesome little like gift mall place underneath the stairs. I don't know if you've been there, but
I've been there.
You walk in and you go around in a circle. There's several stores in the center, but in each and every one there's something different to get. I love that little place because I find things like pens and pencils, and one of my favorite things are the crystal eggs made out of jade or obsidian or things like that. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got all kinds of cool shit there.
Oh, I love boba tea.
I hate boba tea.
I love boba tea so much that I went and bought the pearls, the dried pearls, to make my own, and I still can't make them right. But I have boba to make boba coffee.
Why do you people like drinking snot?
It's not snot.
It is snot. It's tapioca pearls.
I know.
It's gross.
It's chewy.
It's so gross.
It's chewy.
It's disgusting.
I like putting it at the bottom of my iced coffee.
I like everything else in a boba tea except the boba. Of course, I can't drink boba tea anymore because that's basically flavored sugar water.
Lori, balut. That's right. I think that's exactly what that is. Balut is the fermented duck, still in what it's.
It's a semi-formed duck in an egg.
Yes.
Like you're eating baby ducks. You're not eating a hard-boiled egg or even a hard-boiled egg gone bad. You're eating a dead baby duck.
It's a delicacy.
Blech. It's a delicacy in my toilet.
And high five to Lori for she loves boba tea too.
Gross.
Yes, indeed. In fact, I think if I can, I'm going to get boba tea before I come here next week, just to tease you with it.
You can drink it all you want.
I'll suck up a ball and tongue it for you.
I don't have to look at it. See, unlike all those trolley assholes who can't just keep on scrolling by, I can ignore the shit I don't want to see. Works real well.
I'm Alexia.
I'm Sierra.
And we'll be back next week.
If you're brave enough. Later, bitches.
Later, bitches.